Thank you,
All
Madam
right.
Chair.
Yes.
Thanks for the witnesses being here today, especially Ms. Coleman, who is an Alabama native and a Troy University graduate. So thank you for being here. You know, today's significant for my state of Alabama because farming and forestry combine to make up the largest industry in the state. Alabama has 23.1 million acres of forest, 94% of which are owned by private landowners, which is important. We also have 4 national forests and 4 state forests. For our forests to thrive, we must manage and harvest our timber. For our farms to continue producing food for the world, we must keep working forest and farmland in production. Our farmers and foresters are true conservationists that have been implementing and will continue to implement sustainable practices that benefit our environment for generations to come. We must ensure conservation programs remain voluntarily, market-driven, and incentive-based. Each producer must remain in charge of what operations occur within their farmland and forest land. Mandates on our producers will not be entertained to any degree. As we consider this costly $1.4 trillion farm bill and the $25 billion in Inflation Reduction Act spending for forestry and conservation programs, we must recognize the price tag of these programs, their damage to our national debt, and the effect of government incentives to take working forests and farmland out of production. So, that being said, I can't believe that we've been going through this hearing for so long and hadn't talked about feral hogs. Mr. Cosby, I can't go anywhere with farmers and foresters that stay after me about having their crops and their land destroyed. 2018 Farm Bill included $75 million in feral swine eradication and control pilot program. How can we implement this better and do better, and do we need more money in the Farm Bill to help with this?
Thank you for the question, Senator. We've been working very closely with our friends at APHIS to look at this problem, and we've been providing incentives also for this. Now, one of the things is that our incentives go for a certain thing. You know, we don't eradicate, we don't do those type things, but we can help with technologies and how do you get rid of these things, and we've heard this all over. I'm from the state of Mississippi. We have the same issue with feral hogs, and we just need to do a better job of the technology to trap them, and what happens to them after that, who knows. But yes, we do need to work very closely with the federal family to figure out how do we do this, because it is devastating when you go out and you look at a field that it's been turned over overnight, or if a farmer loses all of the alfalfa or whatever has been planted there. So yeah, it is a problem. It is something that we need to talk about. How do we aid the farmers in fixing it?
Do you think we need more money in the Farm Bill for this?
So the money that we've gotten so far, we've effectively used, and so we'll look at other areas and other ways and see if there is more money available to put towards this.
Because it is a huge problem and getting worse. It's getting worse. Got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think we have to empower producers to consider the production systems that allow these type of species to propagate. Senator Thune will be familiar with the conditions around Lake Oahe, where we've got the ebb and flow of the lake that creates bare ground, where we get Canada thistle by the hundreds of acres. But because of some of the work that we've done in our grassland ecosystems, Canada thistle can't find a home in those ecosystems because that ecosystem is resilient. So as we help deal with the symptom, we've got to help producers understand the greater system that they're working in and provide them opportunities to adjust that production to eliminate that environment that's conducive for the feral hogs.
Thank you. Ms. Coleman, because forestry is so important to our state, I want to be sure it's protected. In the South, insects and disease like the southern pine beetle and pine decline can decimate pine tree species. How is the Forest Service monitoring and preparing for outbreaks that could decimate our critical forest resources?
Thank you so much for the question, Senator. We are very active in our state and private
forestry program, very active pest management group, and certainly we've all seen the devastation of the southern pine beetle and other pests throughout the country, and climate change has only ramped up the effects. And so there was support and funding from recent legislation that really helps us to deliver, and Farm Bill authority that helps us deliver much more effective monitoring and eradication or at least response to those infestations. So clearly, it's very much a part of our forest health work in the agency, and it's also a contributor to our overall strategy when it comes to resilience in healthy forests.
Thank you very much. Madam Chair, I got a couple of questions I'd like to submit for the record.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.